All right, let's talk about the $sort pipeline stage when you're aggregating. Now, $sort does pretty much what you'd expect. It sorts the documents, but a few things to keep in mind when you use sort. The first is that it can be a real memory hog. The aggregation framework doesn't go to disk for sorting, as far as I know, and so it's going to sort in memory. If the sort is before a grouping and after a match, I think it can use an index, but if it's after the grouping phase, I don't believe it can use an index. And the second thing to remember about $sort is it can go before or after the group phase. You can sort multiple times if you'd like, and it's going to be really useful. Now, I'm going to show you a sort at the end of the pipeline, which is good for sort of formatting a report. But sorting before you do a grouping is even more useful in terms of aggregating different pieces of data from the collection. So let's look at sorting at the end of a pipeline. We're going to go back to our zip code data set, and each document looks like this, if you recall. And then we're going to just add a sort at the end of this query that we did before. Makes it a little bit more useful though. We're going to match on all of the zip codes in the state of New York. We're going to group by the city and sum up the population. And then we're going to project, just to make it a little bit neater, we're going to rename the underscore ID field to be city essentially through these two operations, suppressing the underscore ID and then creating a new key called city. And then we're going to include the population, and then we're going to sort by population descending. And of course, this can be a compound key. It doesn't need to be just a single key here, but in this case, I just want to sort by the population descending. Let's see what that looks like. All right. So it looks like this. I'll just make sure I'm running the right one here. There we go. It looks like this. And you can see that now we've got the result in descending population order. So we can see the biggest cities in New York. And the biggest city in New York is considered Brooklyn, which is one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. And again, as I told you before, it looks like in this data set, each borough is its own city. And actually, beyond that, so this is Manhattan right here. This is the Bronx. This is the city of Rochester. And then this is Staten Island, which is where I grew up. And then you can see that Queens has been broken up into multiple pieces. Buffalo is a separate city, but the borough of Queens is not even a city. It's put in as Flushing and Jamaica and a few other places. I guess the postal system, post office in the United States has its own notion of what a city is, interestingly enough, so that's news to me. I consider New York to be one city since it has one mayor. All right, so let's now do a quiz on sorting. So again, considering the zip code collection, which has the documents that look like that, write an aggregation query to sort by state, city, ascending, both of them ascending, and assume the collection is called zips. And put your answer right there.